Fleshgod Apocalypse with the album King. Now, wow. This is a band that really combines two things that you would think would be polar opposites of one another, and that's death metal and classical music. Well, guess what? You'd be wrong. Literally, you can put just about anything along with death metal, and you'll probably get something, somehow, that is pretty pleasing on the ear. And really, whenever you consider classical music or anything like that, it examines the whole of what music is able to offer and accomplish. So we have the beauty of operatic style vocals at times, cascading male and female vocals with terrific soloing and great riffing, and death metal. And we have King, which is a concept album. Fleshgod Apocalypse. Very highly respected, very nicely revered among the community. So let's get started. Let's talk about King. Does it hold a candle to Labyrinth? Is it able to take Fleshgod into the stratosphere? The first half of this album, and literally I consider this to be the real dividing point, considering the first 6 tracks and then the final 6 tracks really create this 12-track album, is March Royale, which is an introduction that leads into In Aeternium, which is a fantastic, fantastic way to really bring you into this world. And it's done so with a fantastic rhythm. It's done so with excellent construction, and the construction is coupled with nice soloing, furious blast beats, and vocals that are able to really teeter the line between traditional death metal, the growls, the darks, the depths, with some cleans that have just some great momentum behind them. Healing Through War reminds me as a song, which is track number 3, as more of a bridge. It's something that is not quite as strong as its predecessor, but it is moving the story forward into the Fool, which, of course, if you think about a bridge, your other side better be worth going to, which the Fool certainly is. It's an early album highlight along with In Aeternium, because this song is able to just breeze through and just ripsaw its way through. And again, one thing that we're always going to go back to with Fleshgod Apocalypse, one thing that we're always going to really speak about, is the transition emotionally between vocal and solo. And these are songs that are all showcasing that ability. Because whenever you have vocals, that is something that is eliciting a certain emotion out of you. It's something that's giving you a certain feeling. But then moving into the solo, the instrument itself becomes that instrument of passion or that instrument of feeling. It is set to essentially do without voice, without any sort of communication. It is meant to set an emotional response, elicit it. And Fleshgod Apocalypse is a band that does this very well and executes this very well on a song such as The Fool, but also as others. Or also on others, should I say. Coldest Perfection feels a little bit more vanilla, but has a terrific second half. But then Mitra does feel very vanilla. So there are some bumps in this road. There are some moments that feel just a little bit lackluster. But whenever we reach the second half, that's where things get a little bit interesting. That's whenever we get into something that is kind of difficult to describe, but I'm going to do my best to sort of explain it to you. Many bands have a sound that is very trademark. It's very much theirs. No, it's not like trademark like the Fine Brothers trying to trademark reaction videos or some stupid current event bullshit like that. No, it's instead something where a band has a signature that's all their own, something that makes their sound unique. And whenever you are doing that, you can only push your own boundaries and change things up so much before you find yourself kind of going back home, going back to some of those safe elements, those safe areas. And you have to. You have to reinforce your strengths. You can't just go off into fun and fancy land all the time and decide that you want to live there and abandon something that has really brought you to where you are. The second half of the disc is definitely Fleshgod Apocalypse paying homage not only to themselves, but also furthering the storyline of this concept release, and doing so in a way that furthers their element and furthers their craft. Songs like A Million Deaths really have a lot of build behind them. Gravity has a lot of build behind it. And The Vulture Beholds does not. It's instead more of a setup track of the second half, considering Paramore, which was right behind it, is a stunning solo that is done with female voice with very light instrumentation in the background. And it's something that really is used to transition from one part to the next, from one act to the next. But it gets to the point where there's all of this build that Syphilis needs to deliver. Syphilis is the 11th track on this disc, a 7-minute and 22-second long epic. The longest track on this album. It needs to deliver. It needs to give us exactly what we want. It needs to give us the ending to this story, but also be able to deliver on a musical level. Is it able to accomplish this? Yes. And I'll tell you why. Some people may disagree. Some people may say that from a compositional side, or whenever it comes to the remainder of Fleshgod's, other 4 albums, that it feels sort of like a weak track. But considering this is a concept album and it needs to deliver on a brand new level, on a brand new scale, in order to really bring the story full circle, to give us an ending, it does that. And it does so in a second way as well. It delivers it with the emotion, with the passion. It all bleeds out of this guitar. It all bleeds from this band, especially in the second half of this track. Which leaves you with King, the self-titled finale, the self-titled final track, which feels very much like a dirge. It feels very much like a funeral march. A soft ode to perhaps a fallen king, a fallen conqueror, perhaps a fallen tyrant, a man or a woman no longer with us. Overall, this is an album that isn't perfect. It has some imperfections. There are some moments on here that, for the Fleshgod way, feel a bit vanilla. But overall, you have to enjoy the fact that this band continuously tries to find interesting ideas to build concepts around. And they're able to do that with this. Lyrically speaking, they are always a very solid band. Musically speaking, they have great instrumentalization, and they have some tremendous moments. As a whole, I would say their weakness is just at times they become a little bit static. This is a band who has a lot of kinetic ability, but sometimes remains very static, and sometimes focuses on the simplistic. You might think that that's an absurd statement, but listen to their entire discography, and listen to this disc. At some points in time, they just keep things a little bit, low-key, which is okay. But with all that even said, even with that last statement, which no doubt insulted a bunch of people, this is an 87 out of 100 album. Well worth your examination, well worth your purchase, and one that I think that a lot of people could really benefit from checking out. But what's your opinion? What do you think about King by Fleshgod Apocalypse? Is it a yay? Is it a nay? Is it hail to the king, baby? Or the king is dead, fuck the king? Let me know in the comments below. I'm coverkillernation, and I'm a king every day. King of this little area around me. Not much of a kingdom, but it's mine. I don't have any subjects, no people to order around. I have a couple cats that usually dominate me. They claim my land for 5 seconds and then leave. So I guess my land's not really all that worth it. But I'm still a king, goddammit! Respect, bow down, and bring me things like sandwiches and batteries and women. Bring me women. And beer.